So this Saturday is WWE's Money in the Bank, so so now it's the time to sit down and finally make my predictions on the show and what I think is going to go down, and be telling you who I think is going to be the winner of these matches, as well as maybe potential shenanigans and maybe kind of like some of the stuff I generally keep going backwards and forwards. So I'm going to try and work through my thought processes while I'm making this video. So I might kind of like come out with some kind of like stuff that might even surprise myself, because I'm still kind of like trying to get it all kind of straight in my head. I'm still kind of going back and forth on quite a lot of the stuff that could go down here. But yeah, if we start off with the Women's Intercontinental Championship between Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch, this is actually a stipulation where if Lyra Valkyria retains, then Becky Lynch can never challenge for the title again, at least not while Lyra Valkyria has the title. And if Becky Lynch wins, then Lyra Valkyria must raise her hand. Some people have been saying this is kind of like a bit of a lame stipulation, and I kind of get it, but I kind of think it works for these two. I think the last match that these two put on was an absolute banger, and I can see that there's no reason why they can't do it again. I don't think they need any real kind of big, grand street fight, falls count anywhere, whatever kind of like stipulations or anything to kind of like elevate this. I think these are like two women who are really, really great talents, really capable of pulling on a good match all kind of like by themselves, and they have really good chemistry together. And I just feel like so yeah, I just think that this could be a good watch. This is one I initially I kind of felt like, although Lyra had won the previous two, I kind of felt like that Lyra was going to win this one as well, because we've still got this thing hanging over this match where Becky Lynch had taken Bayley's spot in WrestleMania and had kind of taken her out. So there's this, and Bayley hasn't been seen since. So we've got this looming over this match of, is Bayley going to show up, and is going to be an intervention. I think that is a real distinct possibility for the show. So that was initially what I thought, that's what they're going to do. They're going to have Lyra retain and through a Bayley and returning and intervening. I still think that could happen, but I'm starting to be swayed to Bayley not showing up until after the match has come up. I think that it could be good for that for Becky Lynch to win, and for her to kind of really pour salt in the wound, at least in her own head, and savor this moment where Lyra Valkyria has to raise her hand, and so just as she's kind of doing that, boom, that's when Bayley's going to come back. And I think the reason why they'll pull the trigger then after the match is because then it kind of like removes the stipulation on Lyra Valkyria's part, where Becky Lynch can challenge for the title. So if she becomes champion, then obviously she can still be involved in this title. And I just think that it could. I'm guessing like Lyra Valkyria would, if she lost, she would be. They could easily have a rematch clause. So I think like if they bring Bayley back, it would just kind of make sense for it to happen after Becky Lynch has won the match and become the new Intercontinental Champion. And then you could have Bayley return, and then you could set up like a triple threat, maybe for SummerSlam or something like that. So yeah, I think that's what is going to go down here. So yeah, I'm picking Becky Lynch for the win. Again, I'm not overly confident. I had said in my idea for previously that when these two fought, I picked Becky Lynch as well. I was confident she was going to win that one, and I was wrong. So who knows? They could do anything. I guess is a tough one to call. So so yeah, we move on to. We move on to the tag team match between John Cena and Logan Paul against Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And oh my God, if we must be living in some sort of Twilight Zone, because if you were told me that we were going to be living in a world where Cody Rhodes would be teaming up with a member of the OG bloodline to take on a heel John Cena, who would be pairing with Logan Paul, I would have said, you'll be absolutely, what nonsense, crazy world are you talking? Like, we just descended down a rabbit hole into a world of madness here. But here we are. We have, right here in this Twilight Zone phase of wrestling that we're living in, here we are. So, I mean, this isn't a match I'm kind of overly psyched up for. I would say that I still think it'll be a fun match. I think you've still got obviously four great talents in there. You've got four big names in there. So, but I do just kind of feel like it's sort of been thrown together. It's another one I've talked about in my previous videos where you've had these sort of tag team pairings where it hasn't really felt natural. It's just kind of felt kind of thrown together, and you've had these Frankenstein monster creations, and you're like, what? Why are these two fighting again? And it's kind of like felt a bit like that. It has just felt a bit of an afterthought, and I think the reason why they can get away with it on this this event is because Money in the Bank is kind of seen as a bit of a gimmick PLE, a gimmick in the sense that the main focus are centered around the Money in the Bank ladder matches. So everything else, all the matches that happen around that are kind of like just background noise. So that's where I feel like, well, they can kind of get away with it. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, I do see Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso picking up a win here. Just because I don't think that Logan, and I think it probably through Logan Paul taking the pin here as well, because I just don't think it really hurts him. I don't think it hurts either, and I just think that with this match being set up by the return of Cody Rhodes, this will be the first match we've seen him in since WrestleMania. I just feel like, yeah, you kind of go ride that wave and follow it through, and I just think it would make more sense for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso to pick up a win here. You've got this storyline as well, which I'm not going to get into because it's too much, because I kind of feel like I'll be getting off tangent. But you've just got this story arc as well of Jey Uso getting pummeled on Monday Night Raw, so he's not going to be going into this 100%, and then he's got a match on the Monday Night Raw after against Gunther and all that kind of stuff. And you got potentials for like because that's a title defense, how this money in the bank is going to affect that. So it's going to be interesting. So I think if they're going to continue that storyline of kind of continuing to build Jey Uso as this underdog and fighting against the odds, I just think it kind of makes sense for him to kind of persevere and still be on the winning team here, so you can continue riding that wave and sort of go, well, he survived this one, can he survive the next one? And I just think it makes more sense. So yeah, I'm going for Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the win here. Now, moving on to the Money in the Bank ladder matches, our main attractions here. We'll start off with men's Money in the Bank ones, and I mean, I think that this is going to be one where we will start by kind of like eliminating those who I think are quite outside chances of not winning this and sort of arrive at our winner by kind of process of elimination. So for those that don't know, this Money in the Bank ladder match is going to take place between Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, Penta, Seth Rollins, Andrade, and El Grande Americano. That last one I cannot believe I am saying that we have El Grande Americano instead of a CM Punk or an AJ Styles, but here we are. So we won't get too much into that. So yeah, I mean, yeah, and this process of elimination that I kind of like laid out is not as easy as because I would like to think that the most outside chance, the most ridiculous decision here would be El Grande Americano. But how many times have we said this? I mean, I could not believe when he picked up a win on Monday Night Raw, and I know I just previously recently just promised I wasn't going to get into it, and here I am. But yeah, I just feel like I wish I could say that there's zero chance that they're gonna make him Money in the Bank, but I wish I could say there's zero possibility of it. But you know, I've been in these situations before with El Grande Americano going, well, why is he in this match again? Like, and he just sort of seems to be there for the comedy effect, and then he just wins, and it's just like, yeah, it's just kind of like, so, but I am going to say that common sense will persevere here, and he isn't going to win it. I'm saying it now. So El Grande Americano. Andrade isn't a bad choice. I could sort of see it in the sense that he's kind of like an outsider, so he's kind of perfect for Money in the Bank, because usually when you look at your big A stars, A-listers in the roster, they tend to be in the position where they can just pursue title shots kind of like on their own accord, and you can just fit them into these main events just because they've got that star power. Whereas Money in the Bank is kind of like a tool to kind of like make this outsider a threat. So Andrade is a possibility, but I'm having difficulty seeing it. I'm still saying Andrade is an outside shot. Same with Penta, really. Like, yeah, Penta, great talent. I see continuing to kind of like have this push in WWE, but I am struggling to see him kind of being Mr. Money in the Bank. So now we got our three ones, and this is tough because I go back and forth on this one all the time. I could make my prediction today and tomorrow. It could have changed. It could have been changed by later on tonight. So, because all of these remaining three, Solo Sikoa, LA Knight, and Seth Rollins, are all quality potentials for this match. I could see any one of these winning it, and I could see how it would totally make sense. Seth Rollins with faction that he's got now with Bron Breakker and Paul Heyman, and I just feel like it makes a lot of sense. It kind of has yeah, because obviously with him kind of just wanting this power and wanting to kind of just what they're kind of building here, and they want to establish this fraction of Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Bron Breakker's faction as this really strong threat on Monday Night Raw. It makes a lot of sense to kind of have him going around doing Money in the Bank. It does make a whole lot of sense. And I can't say I would hate it. I would be totally down for it. The only kind of counterpoint is that obviously Seth Rollins has already had a really well remembered Money in the Bank cash in with a heist of a century. And I just feel like maybe making him Money in the Bank again just maybe causes people to kind of do a contrast and compare. They shouldn't be doing this contrast and compare, but they do. So that's kind of like one kind of point. But the main argument I can make against Seth Rollins becoming Money in the Bank is because I just feel there's too many moving pieces around him to kind of the idea that you kind of want to make his fraction just this main dominant force, so they're just gonna plow through everything and it's just going to be that clean. I just feel there's too many moving pieces there. Obviously, you got CM Punk in the mix who could intervene. Obviously, you've got Jey Uso and Sami Zayn in the mix there, and you've got this unexplored thing as well with Roman Reigns kind of looming over this somewhat. You've got the potential for Roman Reigns returning and intervening here. So there's kind of a lot of potentials they could pull that would just kind of get in Seth Rollins' way. And in a way, based on kind of like their history and the character arcs they've done, Roman Reigns returning and screwing Seth Rollins out of a Money in the Bank would be kind of perfect. It would kind of bring us sort of full circle a bit. I think it would be perfect. But yeah, I mean, so that's a distinct possibility. You could also obviously have CM Punk intervening here and screwing them over, like I said. And that's just there's just too many moving pieces like this. I just feel like their enemies list is going to be kind of greater than their parts, and it's just yeah. I to that end, I'm not kind of entirely convinced that we've seen the end of the establishment of Seth Rollins' fraction. I think there could easily be a fourth member, the fifth member coming down, but that's another topic for another time. But yeah, so and then we got Solo Sikoa, who again is another big potential. I mean, again, making him Money in the Bank. I think he's got this charisma. I'm really liking Solo Sikoa at the minute. When he was first brought in as kind of a new tribal chief after Roman Reigns, I didn't really invest in his character, but I'm really investing in this. I just think he's so entertaining, and I just think. That him going around as Money in the Bank with that kind of persona is I think I could get a real kick out of it. And obviously you've got that potential of a Jacob for two kind of fallout from the bloodline and their kind of fallout, and you know the Money in the Bank could be a kind of a catalyst for that as well. But so yeah, that would make a lot of sense too. But oh god, this is tough. But I'm going for LA Knight with this, just because I think that, like I said, with Seth Rollins, I just think there's too many moving pieces. I just think it's quite a strong possibility that he's going to get screwed over by either CM Punk or Roman Reigns' return. I think Solo Sikoa is a really good show, but again, I just feel like we're kind of in this phase where the Jacob Fatu's falling out with Solo Sikoa and the bloodline is kind of already underway, so it doesn't really need the Money in the Bank as a tool here. It you know, it would feel a bit redundant, whereas yeah, LA Knight, I think there's just a lot of stuff like you could do. I think that he's a really used talent in the roster. I think he could be like I think that you could make him from the mid card roster and make him this real threat again, and I think a Money in the Bank could do that. So yeah, again, not a lot of confidence in it, but I'm going here and now. I'm going for LA Knight, and like I said, this could be changed by tomorrow. It could be changed by tonight. It could go back because honestly, between these three, I go back and forth all the time. So yeah, lastly but not least, we have the women's Money in the Bank ladder match. And boy, if I thought the men's was tough to call, then this is even harder. Even doing this like process of elimination like I did before is even a lot harder, but I'm gonna try here. So in the women's Money in the Bank ladder match, we have Alexa Bliss, we have Roxanne Perez, we have Rhea Ripley, we have Julia, we have Naomi, and we have Monday Night's Raw's latest signing, Stephanie Valkyrie. Now I'm gonna say that Julia and I mean any one of these women could feasibly win it as well, but I'm gonna say Julia is probably the least likely to win this, just because I feel like WWE has already kind of played their hand with this, and I kind of wish they hadn't, because I would be kind of giving Julia a lot more chance to win this if they hadn't already played it, but they've already kind of played their hand where Julia's seems to be already going after Zelina Vega title. So I don't think that. So I think she's kind of like on her own path here. So I don't think Julia's winning it. I'm hoping Rhea Ripley does not win this. I think she's a strong shot. She's a big star, but I'm hoping she doesn't win it. I mean, and um, what I said before, I think you could apply to Rhea Ripley here in the sense that one argument you could make against her winning it, and the big part of why I do, is because she's such a big star that she doesn't really need the Money in the Bank device to kind of pull herself into the title phrase. She can just show up and pull herself in it. I mean, like we even saw with Io Sky's like title defense against Bianca Belair, she can just shoehorn her way into these things, just because she's that over and that good with a crowd. They can just find a way to work her into title matches and main events. So she just doesn't really need her. So yeah, when I say I hope Rhea Ripley doesn't end, it's not any kind of obviously ill will to Rhea Ripley. I'm a big fan of Rhea Ripley myself, but yeah, I just don't think that she kind of needs it. I think that you could give Rhea Ripley's title shots and make her like main event, and just without this being a kind of a device for that. Yeah, I mean, Roxanne Perez is an interesting one, because again, you've got this continuing storyline with a gradual fallout of the Judgment Day, and the Judgment Day being kind of split about Roxanne Perez being part of the Judgment Day, and with Liv Morgan having gold, and if Roxanne Perez becomes Miss Money in the Bank, that could escalate the friction there, and you could do like a lot of fun stuff there. I don't think that she kind of falls into that as well, where she's kind of not real top tier yet. She's a phenomenal talent and a great asset to WWE, but I do think she's kind of like A-list star level. Yeah, and I think she kind of falls into still that mid-card kind of thing, which just ends up being perfect, I think, for a Money in the Bank potential winner, where you could just have her kind of moving around in the background, just being this kind of threat. So she's a big one, but the argument I could make against this is kind of the same way I could make against Solo Sikoa, where it feels like the fallout of the Judgment Day, and it's already well underway. So so the Money in the Bank being a tool for this just maybe feels a bit redundant. It doesn't really kind of need the Money in the Bank to kind of get these characters from point A to point B, because they're already on their way there. So um, so yeah, that's the only reason I say. Alexa Bliss is like a good shout, just because she gets pops wherever you go. You got the Wyatt Six recently returning, so they could play a part. Not that I think that the Wyatt Six are going to get overly, I don't think the lights are going to shell out, and the Wyatt Six are just going to take everyone out with Alexa Bliss just being the last one standing to take the Money in the Bank. I don't think the White Six are going to be getting involved in that sense, especially with it being a women's Money in the Bank ladder match, and all of the White Six bar one of them um, being male. But yeah, I mean, the White Six get involved in some way. Maybe Nikki Cross coming in and kind of just helping out isn't out of a question. Kind of weaving Alexa Bliss into a Wyatt Six kind of feels a no-brainer. That's how we thought she was going to go, and she seems to be moving away from that. But I just think it's a perfect fit, and also it would make sense seeing as the Wyatt Six can currently only consists of 5 members. I know it's a play on words, but it still kind of makes sense for them to have Alexa Bliss here. So Alexa Bliss is another potential. But again, I can't quite see it for some reason. I don't know why. I would totally welcome it, but I can't see it. So yeah, Stephanie Valkyr again. I could another really strong shout. I could totally see that. I think you could just strap a rocket to this person. But again, I just feel, just because she's just been called up and going straight into this PLE and going into this Money in the Bank, I think that although Stephanie Valkyr is undoubtedly going to have a big push and there's just great things ahead of her in WWE, I don't quite see it kind of escalating to this point just yet. I do kind of feel like we're gonna just gradually build her up here through the roster. But again, not out of the realms of possibility. Like literally, here I think like with both of these Money in the Bank matches, I think you could pick anyone and you could tell me your prediction for any one of these, and I'd say there's a strong shout you could be right, because I just find it that difficult to call. But I'm going for Naomi here to win it. I'm going for Naomi to pick up the in the Bank, just because she's doing such a good job as a heel. And I mean, I don't think that Money in the Bank's necessarily have to be won by heels, but I think they're better on heels. And I just think that obviously Naomi is just doing such great work as a heel, and so just to have her be giving her this push and just having her with her Money in the Bank to kind of give her this device to just really make her feel this really threatening presence, mixed in with obviously the heel work she's already doing. I'm down for that. I'm totally here for that. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna go for. This is my pick. I'm going for Naomi. So yeah, this I mean, this has been a very long-winded way of me just kind of picking out 4 winners here, but here we are. We finally made it. So yeah, if you kind of stuck through me with this video, thank you very much. Yeah, if you're watching on Saturday, I hope you enjoy it. Don't forget to come back here soon after it's aired for my reviews and thoughts on there. And yeah, if you like this video, don't forget to ring that bell for notifications. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There'll be more WWE content coming your way. There's already WWE content on there, but you can check out. And so yeah, until the weekend, I'll see you then. Thank you. Bye.